Demo video of the dog. If you are someone that has a dream of going and running a marathon, of getting way better marks, of building an amazing physique, of getting expertise in your sports or in your martial art, or in that specific field that you're in that specific skill that you're learning, if you want to do something, if you want to go out and build the program, if you want to achieve the goals, if you want to join the club, if you want to learn the skills, speak the language, build the game, if you have any of those dreams, then this talk is for you. Because I'm Yuka. What I did was I've had the same dreams. I couldn't do any of them. But then I just ended up making significant progress. And it just comes down to three main things, and one of which is part one is distractions. Part two is the progress, and part three is starting small. The distraction is when what you think makes you happy doesn't make you happy. I told this a million times. What you think makes you happy, what you think feels good, don't actually add to your happiness. They are the biggest takeaways away from you actually feeling fulfilled with your life. The biggest, the junk food, the distractions, the stimulations, the instant pleasures, the feel good, and it just seems so meaningless when I talk about this here, but listen carefully. It's incredible. The thing about the instant pleasures is they feel good. Like pretty damn good. Like it's gonna be very hard to quit it kind of good. And that's why they're a distraction in the first place. Now that I have overcome them, it's very easy for me to shout at the camera, but then going into your position and seeing it's incredibly hard. And the reason I was able to overcome this is because I've had that insane level of frustration with life, so I just push through. What if you're just an average everyday person? And that's where the aspect of meaning comes in. Because these instant pleasures, they can be overcome if you follow step 3, which is starting small, and then you level up, and then you take action and you do the dopamine detoxes, and then you take action. It's like you can do it. You have the literal ability and capacity to do it, and I can prove it because I did it. Bro. I was gaming with my friends. I was watching television, coming home and escaping from how shit I actually felt with life. I was doing all of that. So it is possible, and it is possible because on the other hand, on like the opposite end of the spectrum, what you need to think of is you need to think of the reason you're doing this in the first place, the reason you're living, the big purpose. At your life level, at the world level, like when you die, what do you want your life to amount to? When you look back in 3 years from today, 3 years before today, if you look back the past month, the past year, the past 3 years, what are those regrets that you have, and what are those regrets that you do not want to have in the future? What kind of a person do you want to be? The truth, and did you even live? Will you be living if you in future? If you look back, will you be even living? What would your existence amount to? These questions, this should just rattle you up, because the amount of things that we struggle with on a day-to-day basis, and how you can eventually overcome that, how you can eventually make something of yourself and of your life, and there's the things, just the people around you, and how much you can transform on a core level is just insane if you just put in the work. And this is not going to happen in an instant time scale. This brings us to the second point. And for the first point, those instant pleasures, you cut them out, your mental health is going to be better. You cut them out, you're going to have more fun. You cut them out, you're going to be able to do things that will end up making your life more fulfilling. You cut them out, it's going to be a shit load of struggle. But then you realize it's so much better than the alternative, which is escaping from the struggle, which is escaping from the frustrations and dissatisfactions that you always had. progress, and this progress, honestly, this is kind of why we just get motivated, because we want to learn a coding language. We do it tomorrow, we do it the next few days. We want to learn a gym, we want to build a good physique, we do it for the few days, but you don't stick with it, right? And you lose motivation. But then the progress happens, like the real progress, the real transformation happens when you are not able to notice it, when it just gets you. You just keep putting the work, blindly work, and then level up, going after it, and you just keep kind of losing yourself and going after it. And after, you just look and you just have this moment of realization 2-3 years in the future. I just look back and it's like, I kind of did it, bro. I kind of achieved it. Yeah. The things that I wanted to do, the insane progress that I made, the things that I struggled with, the things that would have genuinely been impossible, things that I was struggling with, I was failing with, the addictions, the pleasures, I just cut it out. Now I do have the next degree of struggle, the next higher level of pushing through and making stuff, and I'm more happier than I've ever been. Happy does not mean that, oh no, I've always feel good. No, I do feel like shit sometimes. I do feel scared and anxious. I do feel all of that emotions, but because of the fact that I've been doing the inner work, emotional handling, and I've been getting to the cause of why I feel the way I feel, why do I struggle to be more authentic? Why do I? Because inside me, that would be that split between what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And that's the root cause of your social anxiety in the first place. And when you dissolve that split, when you start diving into what's unacceptable, and you start taking the action, and you face your fears, and you feel super scared, and then you dive into the fear, you do like guided meditations. And hopefully, it's part of a paid program. Maybe I'll just make my own on this YouTube channel. You do those guided meditations to dive into the fears, to get to the root cause, and to actually change on a core level. And when you change on a core level, this is on any pursuit of life. When you're trying to improve a skill, when you're doing this, the progress, you won't notice the progress. The progress is often so minor, and the progress is like your skill is okay, like who you are as a person. The progress you make on your identity is so like stacking small, boring brick by brick, and over the years, it's like I'm kind of a different person. And if you genuinely want to do it at a core level, you have to do the inner work. You have to transform. You have to face the things, the worst parts of yourself. And that just ends up in more relief, because you are able to accept and own all of these parts of yourself, and that makes you feel enough with yourself. That makes you go away from all the experiences that convinced you that you aren't enough on a core level. And this would probably be too much for you to understand right now. But then the reason that you go after all of these things, all of these achievements, is for you to be better with yourself. For you to feel on a default state that you are enough, that you are good, feel that you are enough. Inner work is basically letting go and working on everything that is convincing you otherwise. Convincing you that you aren't already enough, that you need to have and do things. And theoretically, it sounds so amazing, but that is a practical step-by-step process for you to dive into your emotions and do it, so that you can make lasting progress that will often sneak up on you. And that is progress-wise. In case you are going to the gym, in case you are reading books, in case you are working out, in case you are doing any of those stuff, realize that you will be looking back 1 year from now at the progress you made, good or bad. Whether you spend it on Instagram, whether you spend it on television, whether you spend it on, whether you just feel like you wasted your time, or you made some use of it, you went and did something, you went and had your trials and tribulations and failures, and you're going to look back. The time that you have spent, the limited time that you have spent, needs to amount to something. And that fulfillment, number one, that fulfillment. And the second thing, that fulfillment that you get from the transformation of your life, from the transformation of your existence itself, by putting yourself through that struggle and going through those struggle and facing the struggle on everyday thing. Happiness is not the right word for this, because a lot of times you don't feel good, you feel like shit, but then it's meaningful and it's fulfilling, and that's the purpose of you living in the first place. That's the purpose of you playing the game of life. It isn't to just be caught in all of these prisons of fear of self-expression, fear of authenticity, fear of living your own life, fear of people judging you, fear of people mocking you, of criticizing you, fear of being abandoned. And in the core of your social anxiety, the core of all the social fears of self-expression, will honestly just come down to probably your family, your childhood situation, the punishments they give, and the traumatic situations that you have had. And trauma doesn't just mean wild situations like your family got murdered or something. No, trauma is just, it could be something as simple as getting hit by your family when you were young because you decided to express one part of yourself which is kind of weird and not acceptable. That is trauma. And that leads you to making that part unacceptable, and repeat. Now you have social anxiety. The fear of being abandoned, the fear of your core childhood traumas that end up impacting your fear of self-expression. Going through that prison of being addicted to the stimulations, not being able to take control and be at a point of taking action, at a point of control over the life, over the world, or making impact. You won't be able to do that unless you change. And all these things, how do I actually do it? These things within our work, the things that you're going to upload on the YouTube channel, the things that you're talking about, the world, my life, everything. And even now, I do think I still struggle with authenticity. I still struggle with the pleasures, just on a higher level. Still do struggle. I still know I could be better. Shit, I'm avoiding one of the actions right now. By recording this video, I'm procrastinating going and having a conversation that I don't want to have. Which brings us to part 3. Start small. Because what you realize is that you can actually take action and realize that there is action that you can easily do and gain experience on that you are not doing, because it's like you are underestimating the action, that it's too less for you. I'm actually considering how much I'm implementing this in my own life, how much I'm failing to implement this in my own life. If you are not able to take the actions, if you're not able to cut out all of the Instagram and then go and change and go hit the gym every day, cut out all of the sugars, and then suddenly be 100% authentic, just what can you do right now? What is something so small that you can do right now, that you could do right now, and that you would be willing to do right now? Because it's a lot of things you could do right now, but you just don't want to do it. But then some things you're kind of on the edge, so you can just go ahead and do it. For example, maybe you kind of want to go and do yoga 1 hour every day because it kind of makes you feel better, it kind of adds to your life, so it makes you feel happy. So, but then you just don't find the time, other things take over, you are not able, and you keep procrastinating doing the things that you actually care about. So what to do? Just, if you're not able to do yoga for 1 hour every day and that stops you from doing yoga, you can do yoga for 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes. You can do yoga 5 minutes today. And thinking in terms of today, because today is where you have kind of control. I can do this tomorrow, I can work out 1 hour tomorrow. It's harder to do the yoga, to work out for 5 minutes today than to think about working out 1 hour tomorrow. It's harder to go and say hello to a stranger today than to think about how you're going to shout your public speech on stage in front of your entire class tomorrow. Meaning, start small and prioritize taking action. Like, there will be small actions you can do that will end up gaining you XP. Small actions that you can do to train your discipline. Small actions that kind of suck that you can do to train your willpower. That you can do to cut down on the dopamine. That you can do the dopamine detox. Maybe you can watch some YouTube videos to get you motivated for you to take action. Because if you use the YouTube videos to get motivated to take action, that's still better than watching entertainment videos and not taking action. So feel free to consume, at the early stage, feel free to consume the motivational content, the things, the dopamine, like the, what to say, motivational content that just gets you up, gets you vibing. Of course, you are going to build your discipline and level past that, but that's the initial stage. It's just getting motivated, and then you're starting to take action, and that's amazing. But that's the thing, if you, whatever big pursuit that you have in the life, in the world, and how you are as a person, and the transformation that you want to undergo as a person, you can start small, and then you can just keep going. And what you realize is that when change happens, when the results happen, even right now, you may be experiencing some of the results of your past actions. You just haven't taken the time to intentionally attribute it. The reason that I'm able to focus, the reason that I'm able to do this and the reason that my worst days are better than the average student's day. My worst days are still more productive than the average student's average day. It's because of all the time that I spend grinding. It's because of all the time that I spend grinding, doing the things that I don't feel like it. Grinding, trying to willpower my way through pleasures, and then failing, and then struggling with it, and then pushing through. This is a process which took months, by the way. The reason that I am the person that I am right now is because of the actions and the struggles that I constantly took upon every day. And that's the case. It's like, if you want to live a life that you're happy to live, if you want to emotionally feel happy, if you want to be more expressive, if you want to actually do something with your life and experience life on a much richer level, of course there are more struggles. But then the joy is like, that is real joy out there, bro. That is a real sense of authenticity and peace. And I'm just like correlating a lot of things in inner work because it changed my life so much. And that's the deal. Even right now, you are watching me in an above average state. Even now, I will, in the next few days, I will probably struggle. Even today, I was just completely out because I was struggling with something, one of my current things that I'm struggling with so much. But that's meaningful. That's the things that you look back upon with pride. And if you do the right things, if you do the right pursuits and you play life like a game, and then you level up, you struggle, you do the inner work also, it's going to be so much better. And today you can just start. You can just start today by doing something small, by doing something that is almost... I wish I had done this, bro. I don't think I took this too seriously. By doing something small which is slightly uncomfortable, but then you can easily do it. You know, maybe I am not taking the ego hit enough sometimes, and I am asking other people to take the ego hit. Maybe organize a little bit in your room. Recently I did try to organize my room. That's a big story. And just do that small thing. Take the ego hit. Go 2 minutes of yoga. Go 2 minutes of gym. And then you can progress from that. And yeah, me saying this, I just realized that I'm failing to implement this in a lot of aspects in my own life. And a lot of my strategy, a lot of my strategy was just push through with the dissatisfaction, with the pain, the frustration. And this is an advice that I haven't implemented, but I wish like you can implement it, because it just makes so much sense to me, and I wish I did it more, but then I haven't done it. Start small, bro. Just you can start small, and then you can take action today. Oh yeah, I have done that. I have taken a lot of action, but then sometimes I do have the ego that is telling that the action that I need to take the big action, or else it's like the small actions are too small for me. But then I don't kind of take the big actions at all. But there are times I do take the big action. So yeah, that's that. And hopefully this video has been a kind of run through. Like, I didn't script. Okay, I was writing about this stuff. I have been thinking about this like for a long time in my life. But then it's just me ranting on a camera. There is no script, bro. There is no script here. And the reason I'm able to speak like this is not just the good states and the good mood that I have right now, but months and months and months of grinding YouTube videos. I made probably 100 videos before this. And it's not an instinct for me to attribute my competence right now to those work. And you end up feeling like life is happening to you instead of you happening to life. So yeah, just start small and take action.